Hi Taurus, welcome to your reading for the month of November. This reading is for Taurus Sun, Moon, and Rising. If you like the content that I share, please click the like and subscribe button down below. Okay, Taurus, we have to talk about your astrology before I get into your reading, because your astrology looks a little bit different from what I've been picking up until now, right? And while a lot of the readings are love-centric for the month of November that I've been doing, and I pulled general readings, I don't pull specifically for love, the messages that have been coming through are a lot related to love, and yours looks that way as well. But in your astrology, you have this really fortunate placement of Jupiter in your 10th house of career and reputation. And with Jupiter there, it can be easier to get things off the ground. It offers this expansive energy into this sector of your life and your career. And then you also have Mars in your 6th house, house of work. So obviously, everyone take it how it resonates. That might be different, like a 9 to 5 clocking into versus a side business that you're starting, that you're trying to launch off the ground, right? That's how that could look different. But in most instances, that's going to be connected, your work and your career. And you have Mars in your work house. It's been there for about 2 months now, and it's at the 28th degree, about to move into your partnership house. So you might have felt for the past 2 months like you have all this energy to give into your work projects. You might also have found that this entire year, you've been able to get into the spotlight a little bit in your work or in your career, how you're seen by others and by your peers. And my advice, which I don't think I typically do with the astrology, but my advice for Taurus, specifically Taurus ascendants, is to take your energy and keep giving it to your work, your career, anything kind of involving like your reputation in your career. Maybe that would show up like marketing or something. And for Taurus risings, this is a really opportune time to put your energy and effort into all your work projects. I'm just saying it over and over because it's really fortunate stuff, and not other signs don't have it right now. So don't have it quite the way that you do right this second. So also, when Mars goes into your house of partnership, this will likely bring a focus into your partnership, specifically love, which might be where we're picking up in this reading. And maybe at that point, it's going to feel like for part of November and maybe even December, as though there's this tug of war between what you want to get accomplished in your work life and what your partner says that they need from you or actually does need from you. So there could be kind of this like tug of war between those two things. I'll leave it at that. All right, so for your reading, you got the Justice card showing up in your energy. And the Justice card is big energy. It suggests that something at this time is balancing out. And with it coming up for you, you might be the person who's balancing something out. If something has been unfair, if something has felt unjust in your romantic life, it's likely that in the month of November, this is not just coming to light for you, but going to show up through real action in your life, meaning you might have the conversation that's long overdue, whatever that is for you. You might be seeing through some things and be bringing issues into the light that maybe you've even suppressed from yourself. And I just want to also point out, you could be dealing with someone with strong Leo placements, but a lot of water showed up in this. So you could be dealing with a Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Those are here pretty loudly. All right, so yes, I love this. Again, it suggests a balancing of the scales that's happening. You might have strong Libra placements. And Taurus, in your environment, you got the Queen of Wands. So I want to point out, because I noticed it when it came out, your energy is the major arcana energy, right? And even though the Queen of Wands is a court card, it's still not in that major arcana energy, leading me to feel even more so like you're the one who's going to be changing something here. You're the one that's going to maybe initiate a conversation or something like that. I know that's kind of tough with fixed energy, specifically Taurus. That's pretty uncomfortable, but just telling you what I see. And then in the environment, this could be, I feel like this is someone with fire-like energy. If this is a business situation, let's just say, I'm feeling like it's something that's run its course. I'm feeling like it's something that it could even leave you feeling burnt out, like you give a lot to it. If this is a business situation or a love situation, this is something that maybe is very showy or flashy or proud. This could even be someone who lets you know what they need, and maybe that's even where this justice energy is coming through, is maybe this person has been big and bold, and maybe you're finding that it's your turn to say the thing for yourself, to stand in your truth with the Justice card. The Justice energy representing Libra, we see this, as like justice, balancing of the scales and karma, but also it's incredibly diplomatic. And the reason I'm pointing that out is because sometimes that becomes the shadow of this card, that it's too diplomatic for its own good, that they don't wind up getting the point across, they don't wind up saying the thing because they're so afraid of ruffling feathers. So I think I would take that as it resonates, but I think you're being advised to not lean into that shadow energy. And I do think this is about love. You get the Lovers on the bottom of the deck with the Five of Swords underneath it. We'll talk about that. First card out is you. I love to see it. It is the Nine of Pentacles. So this came out, I immediately felt like this is you feeling independent, feeling vibrant, connected with your solar plexus energy, right? That energy of personal will and drive. And it lines up beautifully with this suggestion here of having conversations that need to be said. And then the next card out was the Strength in the reverse. This felt like a dynamic between two people, less the energy of just the Nine of Pentacles, right? Because these could be seen as kind of like opposing energies here. So next card out is really relevant for that Strength in the reverse, and it was the King of Cups. And this Strength card in the middle here in the reverse represents a lack of stability in whatever dynamic this is with you and another person. And that King of Cups might be an employer. This doesn't have to be a love situation. But if this is a love situation, there is a lack of stability that's suggested with that Strength in the reverse. And it's funny because I feel like on your own, maybe even on this person's own, independently, there's something going right. There's something where you're capable of being in this abundance, feeling maybe financially secure. And this person might be feeling as though they can sit on their throne and that they've gone through the trials and tribulations of their past to arrive to this like king-like status. But the Strength in reverse suggests that there's some, it's almost like a communication breakdown or something like that in the middle. And right in the middle of your reading, you got the Moon. I'm gonna jump straight to that, because I think whatever is coming to light is very important, obviously, at this time. But this is something that you might not have wanted to see. This could have been something that was like intentionally kept from you, coming out underneath that Strength in reverse. This could have even involved like an outside person who was a Leo or a Leo-like energy somehow. And it's through deep contemplation, maybe even meditation. The Four of Swords is a card of healing. So some form of healing could have led you to the realization of these illusions in this dynamic. And underneath the King of Cups, you have the Five of Cups. This doesn't feel like it belongs to the Nine of Pentacles, that Five of Cups. But there's something around regret, and if something has already come to light, maybe you have come through this place of regret or remorse, looking at the past, ruminating on it, and feeling not so emotionally sound within yourself when it comes to this dynamic. If that resonates, this has probably been something that's been on and off. Like maybe it's sometimes you felt that like Two of Cups, like you're coming together, and then at other times you felt like you were in this Five of Cups, like a back and forth energy. Something like that could have been going on. Almost like a taunting or a teasing that exists within a love dynamic. That's, yeah. When the Eight of Cups came out, the next card out, this felt like present. This feels like walking away from this entire dynamic. It's possible that I just outlined what you've already been through, Taurus, and that moving into the future, you recognize that you have to walk away from this emotional connection. It's something you invested a lot of emotion into. Could have been even like a lot of rumination with that Five of Cups there and coming out underneath the Four of Swords. But it's something, it's almost like you have to choose. The way that this is set up, it's like you have to choose between stability or this person. It's like you can't have, that's it. You can't have the Nine of Pentacles and this, something like that. Maybe this leaves you actually in this energy if things were to continue the way that they've been, or if this were to even just continue. I think it's that with the Moon card. So next card's out, Queen of Swords and the High Priestess. I'm gonna read these together. The Queen of Swords looking at the High Priestess. That Queen of Swords is you, your energy, by the way. And this is no longer denying your own intuition. I like that message a lot. This suggests you're moving into a space where you're gonna listen to that inner voice. Any red flags that you've seen accumulating that you haven't spoke up about, maybe, are now coming to the surface. And the Queen of Swords speaks very directly. She doesn't overexert her energy. None of the kings or queens do, right? It has to take something specific for them to get off the throne. But with the Queen of Swords specifically, she's not wasting energy with her words. She's cutting straight to the point. And I think whoever this is resonating for, I think that's going to be really important. I think that's going to be really important, that idea and concept of embodying the Queen of Swords energy of all the queens, embodying this one. And again, connecting with your intuition, suggested not just by this card and the Queen of Swords looking at it, but also by this Four of Swords that showed up here. Because this is what leads to clarification and illumination in the Moon. Pardon the train sound, I know it's kind of loud. And then I was drawn to the bottom of the deck when I finished, and you got the Wheel of Fortune on the bottom, and then the card at the other side of the deck tried to come out, and it was the Empress. This feels very relevant as well. This is a moving forward into a new form of abundance. Maybe abundance looks different for you than it has in your past. Maybe abundance looked like one style of partnership, for example, and actually abundance for you is something totally different. That might be different for everyone. Yeah, and underneath the Wheel of Fortune, you've got the Six of Swords and the Temperance. Yeah, moving out of those unstable waters. You know what's so interesting? Even though they're in a boat, this is a card about being in water, which happens to be like really ripply and wavy. And it's moving towards the Temperance, which is 1 foot on earth, grounded, planted solid, and 1 foot in the water, still capable of connecting with your intuition and with your emotional space. I like that a lot. There's something about a grounding within, like grounding in a tangible, like real solid way, but also grounding in the emotional space. That's suggested here by that. I like that for y'all. And then of course, just pointing out again that the Empress is your energy here at the very bottom of the deck. All right, Taurus, that's what I have for you. I hope you have a beautiful month.